And boom, welcome to our live stream. Sorry, YouTube, I had to stay silent because I got to make sure Facebook starts before I introduce myself. And then we all know what happened last week, right? I had to repeat myself for 10 minutes. I deleted those 10 minutes out of the YouTube version. But anyway, still, I had to repeat myself because Facebook had ended up not going the whole time. And I found out 10 minutes in, which is not the worst thing, because the worst thing would be 2.5 hours later when we're about to end the live stream and it didn't go. Luckily, that's not happening. I started, so I know no one cares about this, but I started YouTube 15 seconds early. But it took a second for Facebook to get started. You guys were the only ones late, but it was still 6:50 by the time you guys got started. You were only like 10 seconds late, so no big deal. It just barely changed to 6:51 as I'm speaking now, so we are all on time. I've been good at not starting late lately. Get it? Lately. But welcome to our live stream. I always say the weirdest things at the beginning. I always talk about how late I get started on the precise dot, whether it's a few seconds or a few minutes. Anyway, I'm so precise. I know that's annoying, and not everyone's going to tune in to hearing that on the first minute. I'm sorry, because really we're here to talk about Once Upon a Time, and I hope my hair looks good. Yeah. I know. I have a little more head than I do hair shown on the screen, it looks like. Well, if I go like this, you guys can see more hair. But anyway, sorry. Boring topics. Frozen. Once Upon a Time. Marathon. Tonight. Whippy. We'll just wait until 7. But, I always like starting these live streams a little bit early to give people time to jump on. Because if I turn it on 7, then you guys are gonna miss the beginning of the episode. Oh boy, I am very, very tired right now. Honestly, very tired. Honestly, just looking at my hair. If we just shave that one part off, my hair will go completely back. Anyway, so I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Just looking at my hairline and looking at this hair back here going all the way up here, and then there's this little bit right here. If we just shave that off, it's gonna look like half baldness. I don't want to go bald. That's the thing. It's bothering me, and I wanted to get a hair appointment way back in May to add hair to my head, and it just hasn't been working out. So sorry, my hair's really bothering me for some reason. Okay, well, it's bothering me, but hopefully it doesn't bother you. I don't know what else to say. I'm just ready to get started. I have my headphones plugged in and the episode ready. I've been doing good at doing that the past couple weeks. But tonight will be the end of our Frozen night. It is the 30th anniversary of the episode we're about to watch. I know I know because I've been sick. This has been a rough month, guys. We started the Frozen arc on the first Sunday of the month, right? And then we went through the next 3 episodes. We got halfway through the arc, and then that's when things started getting crazy with me being sick, oversleeping too much, starting the marathon at midnight last week. That had to be horrible. Anyway, I hope you had a chance to watch my live stream. I'm sorry I went live at midnight. That's not usually the best for everyone. I'm the only one who works graveyards, most likely, who's ever watching this, right? So you're not used to being up in the middle of the night like I am. But I had to do the marathon at midnight because I didn't want to skip another week. And so anyway, if you haven't watched it yet, please go watch it. It's still up on Facebook. If you scroll down my timeline, or if you go on YouTube and you look under my live streams, it should be the first video on the top. Now it should be second video because of this one. But first video on the top, it's episodes 7 through 9, has the Once Upon a Time Frozen movie, plus an extra episode before that. As we discovered last week, Ingrid unleashed Emma's powers to make them uncontrollable. Ingrid, the Snow Queen, Elsa and Anna's aunt, if you remember her. Emma can, caught, purposely got herself caught and sent to jail, and purposely did that just so because Emma's the sheriff, right, of Storybrooke. She did that on purpose just so she could talk to Emma and push her buttons and cause her to uncontrollably uncontrol her powers. And anyway, she ended up hurting Charming just like Elsa hurt Anna. She ran away just like Elsa ran away, right? And then all her family wanted to go find her, including Elsa, just like how Anna wanted to find Elsa and bring back Summer, right? They wanted to help Emma control her magic again. At first, Emma thought about getting rid of her magic by going to Mr. Gold, who hasn't been honest this season, and who's turning out to be a villain. Sadly, Belle doesn't know. And when she finds out she has the fake dagger, and she finds out Rumpel was living a lie marriage, it's gonna tear their marriage apart. But anyway, that will come about tonight. Rumpel and Belle's relationship being torn apart. Ingrid and Rumpelstiltskin will be going down. They're both playing the villains of this arc, but since Rumpel's the main character, he will still stick around even after he's defeated. So obviously they're not going to kill him. But will they kill the Snow Queen? Well, you'll have to find out tonight. Anyway, speaking of Emma, Ingrid did the same thing. She couldn't control her ice powers. She ended up freezing one of her sisters, and love wasn't strong enough back then. Unlike Elsa's love to save Anna, it did not. It didn't thaw Helga's heart, who is Ingrid's sister. It didn't thaw Helga's heart. Turned her into ice blocks. It turned her into an ice block and then shattered into pieces. And then Gerda, who's Elsa and Anna's mother, got so upset with Ingrid, she trapped her in an urn, that was pretty emotionally and sad the first time I watched it. And then in the 2-hour movie we were watching last at midnight last Monday, right? Morning or Sunday night, whatever you want to call it. We watched as Emma went to Rumpelstiltskin to go destroy her magic. And Rumpel, threw that spell in the garbage and planned to trap Emma in the hat, the magical hat from Fantasia in Disney, right? The movie Fantasia. It's like an art show that's an hour and a half or long, or 2 hours, whatever. They have a sequel called Fantasia 2000. Mickey the sorcerer in his hat. Remember that? Anyway, the sorcerer's hat, in Once Upon a Time's version, has the power to trap people inside it. And so anyway, he traps so anyway, he plans to trap Emma with the hat, just like he did with the apprentice. And luckily for Elsa got to Emma just before it was too late, and she helped Emma love herself. So we learned something that wasn't taught in the Frozen movie, is that it wasn't just Anna's love that saved Elsa and her ice powers. Love can out-thaw a frozen heart. Yes, just as the trolls said. Elsa didn't give in to fear. She gave in to love. But it wasn't just love from Anna. It was love for herself. And, embracing the ice powers as part of who she is. We learned that in that 2-hour finale. 2 hours, not finale. Usually it is a 2-hour finale, but not in this arc. We still have a couple more Frozen episodes to get through. But anyway, you know what I mean. Elsa came to that realization that it was loving herself that helped her control her powers, because she was able to control them without Anna when she came to Storybrooke. So it wasn't just Anna's love, obviously. She learned to control her powers on her own by loving herself. So anyway, she tells the same thing to Emma, and it's not just Henry's love that can help save her, because obviously that didn't even work when Henry tried to calm her down. Anyway, Elsa taught Emma to love herself, and that's what ultimately caused her to control her magic, which in the end, she used her magic to make fireworks. It was a great finale to that movie. And then finally, Ingrid shattered her mirror, and the curse started coming out. This curse of shattered sight, which, if you don't remember, it causes you to be unchristlike. It causes you to be the worst self, your worst self. Like basically what Satan wants you to be, kind of. It's a curse that causes you to be your worst self. And so anyway, think about your deepest thoughts you have about someone. Like sometimes someone does something mean to you and you turn the other cheek, but sometimes, everyone faces this, right? Before you turn the other cheek, you always have that one part of you that, wishes, I want to do that to them for revenge. But then you're like, nope, turn the other cheek, right? be Christ-like. Anyway, imagine those negative thoughts being the only thing you think about. That's what this curse is. It's the curse of shattered sight. It makes everyone turn on one another with hate. Anyway, it's the worst, probably one of the worst spells on the show. But don't worry, this spell's not like the curse that brought everyone to Storybrooke and made them forget who they are kind of curse. It's not going to last a whole season or a half. It's just for an episode. But anyway, yeah, this whole entire season, I mean, not season, this whole entire first half of the season arc, that was Ingrid's plan all along, was to make the Shattered Sight spell, but it took a lot of other spells to make it first. Now her mirror's complete and she's casting that spell. So, now we're going to see everyone in Storybrooke tear each other apart, both heroes and villains. So, not just the Evil Queen, not just Ingrid. Well, Ingrid's not going to be under the spell. As we also know, the ribbons that Ingrid put on Emma and Elsa at the end of the movie, the ones the ribbons from the kite that Ingrid and her sisters used to have. She made a deal with Rumpelstiltskin to get those ribbons back, and she put them on Emma and Elsa to be her new sisters to replace Ingrid and Helga. The one that died and the one that trapped her in the urn. So Ingrid and Helga, she's planning to replace them with someone magical, and that's Elsa and Emma. She wants Emma and Elsa to be her new sisters, and they put ribbons on them so they won't be affected by the spell. So anyway, but everyone else is under the spell, and even Snow White is being a little evil. So this will be interesting. Don't worry, it's not too violent. The evil that goes on in this show is PG, so don't worry, it's appropriate for a Sunday night. But anyway, we're gonna watch as Emma and Elsa work together to defeat this spell, break it, and have everyone live happily ever after. But then, as our night ends tonight, our last episode tonight will be the episode where we say goodbye to Elsa and Anna and Frozen, and we move on to a new chapter, which has 3 Disney villains. And I'm happy if you want to put your comments below on what those 3 new villains are coming, on who those 3 new villains are. So anyway, yes, it is now 7:02, so we need to start the episodes. But anyway, that's just that fills up our 10 minutes there. Just recapping what we went through last week. But anyway, so assuming you watched last week's live stream, even though it was at midnight last week, right? Hopefully you watched it, and hopefully you're ready for tonight's episode. We're starting with season 4, episode 10, because that's where we left off. If everyone has their own copy of the show, remember, copyright laws won't let me show the show on my screen. So unless you want to stare at my face forever, you have to have your own copy of the show. My suggestion is you turn on the show on your TV and you use your phone to watch my live stream. So all right. So if assuming you guys already knew that and you have the episode ready, we're gonna otherwise pause the live stream if you're not ready. But we're gonna start with season 4, episode 10. And if you have the Disney Plus version, it should say 43 minutes and 49 seconds. That's your timestamp. 43 minutes and 49 seconds. I'll give you a countdown on when to go. Don't push play yet. If you have DVD or Hulu, if you're watching it on something else, I can't tell you. Just make sure you haven't played a single second so that we're on the same page. Same, sync the commentary with the TV show. So anyway, we're gonna get started though. I'm gonna give a countdown. Just want to make sure who's watching. Okay, good. Oh, we had 2 people watching. Now it says 0. Dang it. Okay, well, we're gonna get started. All right, here we go. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, now. I also forgot Ingrid froze Arendelle for 30 years. Ingrid froze Arendelle after Anna trapped Elsa in the urn. We know how Elsa got in there. We have all the pieces of the puzzle. Now it's just a matter of breaking this curse and wrapping up the storyline. It appears Ingrid has won. She's cast her spell and the heroes failed to stop her. Anyway. Wow, Rumple and the Snow Queen are at odds. They're both villains. They should work together. They shouldn't go against each other. It's not evil versus evil. It's good versus evil here. Looks like they're making a deal though, so they can have an alliance. So Rumple's making a deal. hmm he wants Ingrid to spare Belle and Henry from the spell of Shattered Sight. He doesn't want Henry and Belle to hate each other. He wants Henry, his grandson, and Belle, his wife, to be good people, basically. And he's making a deal to spare the two of them, and in return, Rumple's not going to want to kill the Snow Queen. So that's their deal of alliance. Mm. So by sundown, everyone in this town will start tearing each other apart. Yeah, let's not be in town. Let's leave town. Let's go on a vacation or something so we're not destroyed by this spell. Unfortunately, there's an ice wall. Remember the one that Ingrid built up at the beginning of the season? We would have to take that down in order to leave town. See if a Dorth's pickaxe can knock it down. Nope, nope. Fortunately, the wall got stronger after trying to ch- um, axe it down. That did not work. But it looks like Elsa found her necklace. The necklace she found Anna's necklace. She lost that a while ago. She lost it at the beginning of the month, actually, in the first couple episodes we watched of this arc. Yeah, we're gonna win, all right. So as I said, Elsa and Emma are immune, so they won't be affected by the curse. But Regina still wants to protect Henry. Mhm. And look at the thumbnail of the Once Upon a Time episode. It's a ship and a bottle, almost the bottle that Elsa and Anna's parents threw overseas before their death. That might come to play. I think I mentioned that earlier at the beginning of the season. I told you to remember that in the future. This is the time to remember that. Sentimentality pays off. And yet the only reason they couldn't find Anna in the past was because she lost the necklace when her and Emma were stuck in the ice wall a while back. Emma's a little concerned for Elsa because remember Emma brought her to the future from the past. And so since Elsa time traveled 30 years into the future, Anna could be 30 years older and Elsa reassures that I don't care how old she is, she can save us. I still love her even if she has white hair and wrinkled skin. I don't think she has wrinkled skin actually. But 30 years is a long time. You can age a lot in 30 years. We're about to find out what happens to Anna in this episode, which is the anniversary of why we're celebrating it. 30 year, no, not 30 years ago. That's the show stuff. No, 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 no. Well, that the show's not that old. Let me think. Oh, 11 years ago. 11 years ago today, November 30th, 2014, this episode aired for the very first time. And we didn't watch 3 episodes, of course. It was 1 episode a week, but, you know, we watched it, and then the next week it was that episode, and then it was the winter finale. Anyway, tonight marks the 30th anniversary of this episode. So, well, now we're dealing with Hans. Elsa, I mean, Anna and Kristoff just got unfrozen from Ingrid's from after 30-year hypnosis, and Hans is already trying to take over Arendelle. Without Elsa around, I guess. Oh, wow. It was all a trick to surrender and fight back. Ha 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 ha. Run! Run! Unfortunately, the only way to lock a door in fairy tale land and in castles is by putting a sword in the handles. Not Emma. Yeah, Rumpel was gonna trap Emma last week, remember? And he failed. He's after something else now. Hmm. So Rumpel's plan is he's gonna wait for Ingrid to cast her spell of Shattered Sight on everybody, and once everyone tears each other apart, Rumpel's gonna free himself from the dagger and become the most powerful being in the world and be unstoppable. So, if only the heroes knew what he was up to, they would probably put a stop to him after defeating the Snow Queen because he's gonna her spell comes first. She's probably number one priority, and Rumpel would be second. Me win. Rumpel's so selfish, so off the off the straight and narrow that he is pretty much yeah. He only cares about himself. Honestly, you might want to grab some tissues and some napkins because we're about to see a marriage breakup later tonight. A husband who doesn't care about his wife, only his powers. In real life, that's like money over family or something because people don't have magical powers in real life. But interpretation, meaning magic is like money or an addiction or like someone who's addicted to drugs or something and can't stop or or addicted to smoking or something like something bad. Rumple's addicted to magic and he can't seem to get over it. Anyway, Robin and his merry men are trying to prepare for the spell. Remember, it comes down. Well, it's our sun has already set here, so in real life it would have already happened. But in this show, it's still daylight. You only got hours left. Yep, this is true now. Robin and Regina are still trying to be together, even though Marion is kind of still in the picture, but frozen. They still haven't found a way to unthaw her heart yet. They will. Everything in the Frozen arc related is going to be wrapped up tonight. So any questions will be resolved. Any questions you have will be resolved. We are going to find Anna finally after several weeks. We are finally a freezing spell. We are going to defeat the Snow Queen and live happily ever after tonight. But yes, starting with finding Anna. Here we go. It is true. Regina kept a whole dragon underground under the clock tower for 28 years. Pretty sure she can hide a princess if she can hide a dragon. So Anna could be in there. I mean, Rumpel is evil. He is evil. Anna needs to get to Storybrooke and tell them that. Evil wizard or pirate. I think I can handle Rumpel. I'll just take his dagger and command him to do what I want. Though that's though he loves making deals, and I don't know if I want to pay the price for him. So I think a wishing star might be safer than Rumpelstiltskin, but I don't know. Yes, Elsa's the only one who can save Arendelle. We gotta get Elsa back, and we gotta get Anna back. Anna's looking for Elsa. Elsa's looking for Anna. That's interesting. Now the question is, the show has flashbacks. So do you think that's past, or do you think that's present? Something to think about. On the other side, Emma and Elsa are in the mines. Mhm. She's right on the other side of that rock wall. That's funny. Well, it looks like you remember Blackbeard. We first met him in season 3 when Hook was trying to save Ariel's prince and his Jolly Roger. It looks like Blackbeard has the Jolly Roger again. Hook got it back, and Blackbeard has it again. Yeah, Kristoff and Anna are kind of an interesting couple. I told you that. No, I told you that. And guess who shows up? Hans. Just laugh at their faces. They're trying to buy a wishing star, and they don't know how to deal with pirates. Snow White doesn't know how to be a good mayor, according to Regina. Oh yeah. Wow. We have less than a couple hours now. How far are we into this episode? Only about one third, and there's only and we've already gone through most of the day. Uh oh. Uh oh. We can do both. Elsa's probably gonna want to find her sister. She doesn't want to lose her necklace. Oh, that's a sentimental necklace. That's hard to give up. Huh. Rumple's gonna take Belle out of the picture so that Hook can trap all those fairies. Hook doesn't want to do play evil with Rumple, but he has no choice since Rumple has his heart. I think Blue Fairy can sense in him that he's technically evil. Yes, this is light magic. You know, and I don't trust you with it, Rumple. You're evil. You have evil magic. But yeah, yeah. You're not just heroes. You're not just fairy tale characters. You're leaders too. You have to make the tough choice, and or someone has to lose, and you have to say who. Yep. I guess they're going to destroy the necklace, and Elsa's not happy about it because either we could save the town or save her sister. One life against the whole town. Who's more important? That's kind of sad. I bet we'll still save Anna. Oh, Elsa has the necklace. She traded it out. I wonder what's in the bag. She tricked him. She's gonna go find her sister. That's gonna be disappointing. Rumple's like, oh no, what are we gonna do? I need them to get out of here so I can use Hook to trap the fairies. Well, luckily for them, it's just petals. You should, yeah, that's funny. I should know better than to trust blondes by now, Regina says. Because Emma betrayed her and now Elsa betrayed her. Emma brought Marion back so that so that it would bring a like a complicated love triangle with Robin, Regina, and Marion. And now Elsa tricked them so she could keep the necklace. That's less though. It's better to break someone a relationship. It's worse to break a not better. I'm so sorry. It's worse to break a relationship up than it is to destroy someone's valuable necklace, I would say probably. Necklace can't be as valuable as a relationship. That would be fragile. It's the beach. She is not right on the other side. Yeah. Yeah, 30 years is a long time. Well, we found out that Anna is not dead, so she has to be alive somewhere. You think Elsa's like, you think she's not alive anymore? No, she's still alive. We heard her heartbeat, remember? Anyway, speaking of Anna, uh, sh- she looks like Hans took the best of her, and now they're gonna lock her in a trunk. Never seen a Frozen movie where Hans actually wins. For a little bit. At least it wa even if he's gonna put Anna and Kristoff in a trunk, they can probably escape and find Elsa and come back and defeat him later. Han's victory will be short-lived. You know, it seems like Blackbeard knew Anna's parents, Anna and Elsa's parents. He was the one that made a deal with them about the wishing star, and he was the he that was the boat. It was Blackbeard's boat all along that Elsa and Anna's parents were on, and they died on. So it looks like Blackbeard survived the trip to knowing that he knows their parents and he's still alive. So Hans is about to kill Anna and Kristoff. That's interesting. Death is yeah, death is a place. Uh-huh. Well, he's gonna lock Anna's I mean, Hans is gonna lock Anna and Kristoff in a trunk and then drown them in the sea. It's that oh, he's taking them to the spot where their parents' shipwreck went down. Mhm. Hans wants Anna and Kristoff's bones to mingle with Elsa and Anna's parents, apparently. He's such an evil villain, Hans is. So remember when Hook made Blackbeard go over the Jolly Roger? He got saved. The only reason he's alive now is because he got saved by a mermaid from the sharks. So I guess the smart decision would be instead of walking the plank, put him in a trunk so then the mermaids won't save him. Plot twist. So all that time when Kristoff and Anna were frozen, when Ingrid froze them after trapping Elsa in the urn. Yep, yep. Yeah, Anna's talking too much. She's like, "We were in the Elsa was in the urn the whole time for 30 years. Oh, that means Ingrid's doing something worse. We got to stop them." Blah blah blah. And and shut the trunk door. Looks like they just dropped the trunk. So now Anna and Kristoff are drowning in the sea. So maybe they are about to die. But that was 30 years. But see, they said that the spell that Ingrid cast over Arendelle kept us everyone. It kept the whole entire Arendelle frozen for 30 years. So plot twist. That's the present, and Blackbeard has the Jolly Roger again. So it looks like as far as Hook knows, he took back the Jolly Roger in season 3, only to get rid of it a season later. The Blackbeard has it. I mean, he did give up his ship to get back to Emma, so that makes sense in the timeline. But anyway, Anna and Kristoff, that was them in the present. So right now they're in Arendelle drowning, and Elsa doesn't even know it. She needs to save them before they die. It's almost sundown. You're only minutes away. You got to hurry before the spell destroys everyone. 16 minutes. This episode is just hyping us up for the curse. Come on, Kristoff and Anna. Knock your way out of that chest. It looks like Kristoff was able to break free from his ropes. Now it's Anna's turn. Come on, Kristoff. Anna's saying her marriage vows in case she dies. Mm-hmm. Of course, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to let you marry me until we get out of this alive. All Elsa is wishing right now is to be with Anna. I wonder if a wishing is strong enough to bring Anna back. I don't know. Who's to say that necklace was the wishing star all along? Instead of Anna using it to wish Elsa to them, Elsa's wishing it to bring Anna to us. Something's happening. Come on, come on. They're just about on their deathbed. You can save them, Elsa. Come on. Wish granted. They're about on their chins right now. The water they're sinking under is about up to their chins right now. It's almost, drowning them. Here we go. Whoa! A portal is opening from Arendelle. Woo! That was a cool portal. Knocked you guys out. Not really. Just pushed Emma and Elsa over. Looks like Anna and Kristoff are getting out of the chest. Finally, Elsa saved their lives right at the last second. They would have been dead fish by now. She didn't make that wish. They were dead fish right now. She didn't make that wish. Wish, wish. Ah, that could be a rhyme. That was an accident, but that was cool. Yay! Reunited after 10 long season 4 episodes. They're finally reunited. It all started with Elsa wanting to find her sister in episode 1, and 10 episodes in later, she found her. Happy ending. Yes, it is a miracle for sure. A Christ-like miracle. Sisters reunited in the present, in the real world. Anna has never been to the real world yet. Anyway, the curse is coming though, guys. We don't have much time left. We gotta hurry and get back. The ball, guys, from Anna's parents. The letter. You have to read it. It's important. He might not make it home alive, but Elsa and Anna must know the truth. It's the only thing that will save him. Remember what her parents said? They got to read that note. Now that everyone's cleared out of Granny's, Hook's gonna use the hat to trap everyone. That's all the fairies. This is gonna be sad. I know. Anna's like, what a funny looking world. She hasn't been in the real world before. Elsa's kind of getting used to it. Anyway, I wonder what Emma and Elsa. I wonder what Emma and Elsa are gonna think when they come in here. Hopefully, they don't catch Hook in the act. They don't know that he's working for Rumple. They don't even know he has no choice either. So that would probably be a hurtful portrayal. All the fairies are gone except for Blue. Oh no. This is scary. I don't know what I would do in this situation. I would just hide and stay behind there. Yep, I would have just stayed behind there. Look. Look, no, not our blue fairy, not the girl who turned Pinocchio into a real boy. Well, she's gone. All fairies are gone. Yep, now we have to prepare for the worst, and it's all your fault, Captain Hook. Well, not really. It's Rumple's fault for taking your heart and controlling you. But Hook is hiding behind the counter, and Emma and Elsa didn't even know it. I bet if I was Hook, I'd feel bad too. They all think it was the Snow Queen that destroyed the counter spell that was going to stop this curse. But nope, it wasn't the Snow Queen, it was Rumple. I mean, imagine if Rumple was not evil in this season. Um, I'm surprised the Snow Queen wasn't smart enough to destroy their counterspell plans. I'm like a little surprised. If Rumple didn't help her, then the counterspell would not be destroyed, and they would have been able to stop this curse before it even happened. Well, I'm gonna have to sadly tell you, everyone, we're gonna witness an episode without a happy ending because now they can't stop the curse, and that means the Snow Queen wins. Until the next episode, right? So, according to Rumple, Hook wants his heart back now. He's tired of being controlled, but Rumple's like, "No, I'm gonna hold on to the heart a little bit longer until the spell's complete." And then, but know this by the tomorrow morning that 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 all will be complete, including Hook's own life. So Rumple plans to kill Hook in the morning. So that's kind of bad. Kill Hook in the morning. That means it could be his last day alive, and he's gonna spend his last day as an evil pirate because of the Shattered Sight spell. As everyone knows, Hook is a good guy now, but not when the Shattered spell hits. It's gonna make everyone evil, including Snow White. Well, she's been evil actually. She killed Cora, remember? But for anyone who's never been evil before, they're gonna about to see their evil side. Everyone's locking themselves up because of the spell. Take the keys. Snow White's trusting you, Emma. Snow and Charming believe in her. Snow White's like saying, "Please, please, I trust you. Take the keys. Lock us in jail, so we don't hurt you." Emma does have wonderful parents. Elsa just noted that Emma has wonderful parents. If you missed it, Snow White just said, "We don't fear your magic, Emma," as in a way of apologizing from last week about fearing her magic and calling her a monster for hurting David, her dad. They're all apologizing. We don't fear your magic, Emma, because they learned that when she learned to control her powers. As she was learning to control her powers, Snow and Charming learned to embrace her for who she is, even with magic. And so they're like, we don't fear your magic, Emma. Magic is not a bad thing to have. It's good. It's going to allow you to defeat the Snow Queen and win, and then you'll come back and everything will be fine. And that's when Elsa's like, "You're gonna be good parents. You have good parents, Emma." Emma's having a hard time saying goodbye to Captain Hook. Remember our swan, our what is it called? Captain Swan ship? Does everyone ship Captain Swan as a couple? Boyfriend, girlfriend here. It's hard for Emma to say goodbye to Captain Hook. Emma's like touching her lips. Maybe that kiss wasn't as meaningful. I don't know. But anyway, Emma and Hook. Everyone's saying goodbye to their loved ones. How long until the spell hits now? Kristoff says. Oh, we're only like a moment away. Looks like one more adventure together. Not really. It's not the end of the series. We're only halfway, remember? Not one more adventure, but with Elsa and Anna. You know how I said before that characters can come back in flashbacks, even if they're dead. They can come back in flashbacks, or they can come back from the dead sometimes. Anyway, or they can come back some other way. Anyway, and maybe they weren't dead all along. But anyway, Elsa and Anna is one of the few characters that never come back to the show, sadly. So it is one last adventure together with Elsa and Anna. Frozen's not coming back to Once Upon a Time. So, yes, we are saying goodbye to Elsa and Anna. It's been a fun month with them. Mhm. And Regina cares about Henry so much she doesn't bear the fact that she might accidentally hurt her own son. So she's gonna lock him away and put a protection spell on her so that when Regina goes all evil queen, she won't hurt him. Hmm. Yep, we're running out of time, Regina. She said her goodbyes to Henry. She wishes she could focus on Operation Mongoose. She wishes she could find the author, but that's gonna have to wait for now because we're in the middle of a Snow Queen crisis. We're too focused on Frozen this season to care about the author right now. But once Elsa and Anna are out of the picture, then we can worry about the author. Even Roland and the Merry Men are locked away so that they don't hurt each other. No, no, no. We don't want Regina to hurt Robin Hood either. Another romantic relationship. We don't want to destroy. So Regina is going to protect herself from Robin Hood, and Robin's going to protect herself from Regina. Himself from Regina. Man. Everyone has said their goodbyes, and now we're just ready for the spell. Everyone who's watching right now, close your eyes if you don't want to become evil. Luckily, this is all just television, and the spell's not real. It's not gonna fall from the sky right now. Can't believe this was 11 years ago. Frozen came out 12 years ago. This season was a year after Frozen came out. It was still a brand new movie back then. Anyway, happy 11th. This was the only episode that aired on the 30th. So the next episode it's not the anniversary of that one. That episode 11 aired on December 7th, and episode 12 aired on December 14th, which we're not going to watch on those days. We're going to watch them tonight because unlike the time this first aired, we're not doing one episode a week. We're doing three. Anyway, we haven't seen a lot of the Snow Queen except the beginning of the episode, so that's kind of shocking. Anyway, there she goes. She just casted all the glass to fall from the sky. If you don't remember how the Shattered Sight works, in the last week's episode, when she put the spell on Anna, it was the pieces of glass that went in everyone's eyes. So Now it's raining glass from the sky everywhere. So everyone close your eyes. Glass isn't falling, and if it hits your eyes, you turn evil. Close your eyes. This is worse than just putting it on one person. Everybody, close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes. Close your eyes, everybody. Spell has been cast. Sun is down, and it's nighttime evilness. Oh, the glass just went into Snow White. Snow and Charming dislock hands. Snow brings out a hatred towards Charming. Oh no, evil Snow White as the credits roll. Okay. All right, that's the end of that episode. This episode was not the spell a Shattered Side episode. It was the setup to it. The next episode is actually titled The Shattered Side. So we're really gonna get the spell in the next episode. This one was just called Fall. And it's funny because we just ended the fall season. It's winter now. And this one's called Fall. We should have, if I didn't get sick, we would have watched this just before fall ended. But oh well. I guess that means it's time for the next episode. But to recap, it turned out our flashback ended up being the present. Anna, so remember how I said last week that Anna, that after trapping Elsa in the urn, Ingrid froze Arendelle, even Anna and Kristoff, and went to the real world to find Emma, baby, and to adopt her and stuff. Anyway, after the Snow Queen came to the real world, 28 years later, or 30 years later, since it's been a couple years after the curse broke, Elsa and Kristoff finally got unfrozen. And at the time they didn't know it was 30 years, so you could have just said it was a flashback. Hans took over Arendelle and threw Anna and Kristoff into the sea next to Anna and Elsa's parents, where Anna and Elsa's parents ship went down. So anyway, Hans wanted their bones to mingle with their parents, but then Blackbeard put a little twist where where when he went off the plank, he was saved by a mermaid. So to make sure that didn't happen to Anna and Kristoff, he locked them in a trunk. So I guess their bones won't mingle, and they didn't die. So anyway, so they threw the chest into the sea, and in Storybrooke, obviously they spent pretty much all of the episode trying to stop the evil queen's, the Snow Queen's spell of Shattered Sight, right? That makes everyone evil. Anyway, pretty much evil. Anyway, despite all their counters of trying to stop the spell, they failed. But luckily, they needed Elsa's necklace to stop the spell, and Elsa tricked them because she needed the necklace to find Anna, and she cared about Anna more than the town. But it was based on good intentions. And so anyway, they did end up finding Anna and her sister, but while they did that, Rumple and Hook came in the scene and destroyed everything, so they couldn't make the counter spell. They couldn't the spell they were going to use to put on the necklace wouldn't work because they destroyed it, and Hook trapped all the fairies in the hat, sadly. Anyway, so when Emma and Elsa, Kristoff, and Anna came back, they thought it was the Snow Queen who messed everything up. They have no idea Rumple's being evil. They have no idea that Hook is under his control either. And so anyway, they all blame the Snow Queen for destroying the spell that they were going to use against her, and so because they failed, they all prepared for the Snow Queen's spell. And they all put a protection spell around themselves, and and then finally the spell hit, and we rolled credits before everyone turned evil. So now we're going to watch the next episode where everyone is evil. Don't worry, the violence is kept to a minimum. It's all PG. Basically, what we're going to see is people fighting. Have you ever fought with a sibling before? Have you ever yelled at a sibling, hit someone, or push someone? Anyway, a lot of things that are pretty much, how do I put it? Not as friendly, right? That's what's going on. Everyone's going to hate each other. The spell is supposed to, if not broken, the spell is supposed to make everyone hate each other until everyone's dead. But don't worry, Elsa and Emma, who are immune, they're not. They're the only ones that are not cursed. And Anna's not either because she's already. Once you've already been cursed, you can't be cursed again. So with so it's up to Elsa, Emma, and Anna to stop the Snow Queen, and they'll probably don't worry, they will defeat her before everyone kills themselves. So anyway, so yes, we're gonna start the next episode now. So let me tell you what the timestamp is. Um, it is it is 43 minutes and 49 seconds if you're watching Disney Plus. If you're watching it on Hulu or DVD, it's something else. But make sure not a single second has played because we always say previously on Once Upon a Time. We always watch that part. So anyway, just make sure it's at 0 seconds, and I will start a countdown. Just want to see. I just like keeping track of who's watching. All right, let's get started. All right, my throat hurts. Sorry. Three. Okay, wait. 3, 2, 1, now. Aw. Remember Ingrid and her sisters? Aw. Ingrid wasn't always a villain. Remember, Snow Queen wasn't always a villain. She just ended up that way. And she knew Emma from childhood. So we're gonna get answers to all of that. Remember, after this episode, and not in this episode, but the next one we'll be saying goodbye to Elsa and Anna. So keep that in mind. And the thumbnail of this episode is a blizzard all over the place. Boston, 1982. Starting with the flashback. We are in the 80s, guys. Snow Queen is walking around Boston. Hmm. She gave up. Snow Queen's giving up her necklace, her snowflake necklace, just to. No, it's Emma Swan. This is just a fraud. In real life, people who pretend to have magic are frauds. Just trying to earn money. Hmm. Two sisters born with magic. That's what you deserve. She went to a real world person for help, and obviously, a real world person is just putting on a show. If you want magic, it's not in the real world, sister. Ha! Called you a sister. Anyway, Ingrid loves watching people destroy each other. Snow White and Charming hate each other. That's a new. Snow White and her prince hate each other. Has no business of being royalty. Spoiled little princess. Wales. Remember when the curse was hit, Snow White went on a date with Dr. Whale. That's because she didn't know she was married to Charming at the time. Kristoff is starting to regret his marriage to Anna. I mean, they're not married. They never got married because of the show. But anyway, they were engaged, and he's regretting it. Anna knows it's not really him, so she's just gonna walk away before she can get hurt. Elsa and Anna don't know what a savior is. They have no once upon a time logic, of course. They've been in Arendelle their whole lives. It is a real job. It's Emma's job is to bring everyone's happy endings. Got a break. Show goes on and on. It never ends. Killing is not the right answer. If these heroes know one thing, they know killing is wrong. No matter how evil someone is, a hero does not kill. They talked about that last season, and then Rumpel broke that rule, and that's how he becomes a villain this season. Because he killed the Wicked Witch, right? Anyway, so the only way to break the spell is to kill the Snow Queen, but they want to, obviously there has to be another way. There might not be one though. Sometimes you have to do what's best for the whole town. So while Elsa and Emma are going to defeat the Snow Queen, they need someone to watch the baby because Snow and Charming have a baby. That's Emma's brother, who's 28 years younger than her. That's how the show works because when you're cursed for 28 years, you don't age, so you can still have babies. Apparently. So yeah, it's weird to have a 28-year-old sister when you're zero. But anyway, Anna's the babysitter, taking care of the baby, while Emma and Elsa, who have magic, defeat the Snow Queen. Anna doesn't have magic, but that doesn't make her useless. She can take care of the baby. That will protect her from getting hurt. Regina's upset that she's trapped in her own vault. She has no idea that she trapped herself in there and thinks that it's Emma's fault. Uh huh. Ah, there's our evil queen. We haven't seen her for seasons. Little late for Halloween, though. I was waiting to say that joke because when it was Halloween, I was like, "Oh yeah, we're about to start season 4. I can't wait to say this line after Halloween's over." And it's that time, a month later. Hey, Halloween was on October 31st. November doesn't have a 31st, so we're at the last day of November. It's November's Halloween day. Ye of little faith. You quoted a little scripture there, Rumple. I don't think that's how heroes work. That's an evil plan, Rumple. He's telling Hook to kidnap Henry, and while he takes care of Belle, he's going to take them over the town line. And when they wake up in New York City tomorrow, he's going to say that the Snow Queen destroyed Storybrooke, and I saved everyone I could. He'll be known as a hero for making up that lie. I don't think lies last forever. Belle's gonna find out eventually that you lied. And same with Henry. Can't get away with this, Rumple. It's the plot of tricking the world to thinking you're good when you're really the villain. Emma and Elsa can't use their magic against Ingrid. That's interesting. Ingrid is saying they can't hurt Ingrid because the ribbons on their wrist prevents them from hurting each other. So, oh, now we're in 1999 Manhattan. Cool. And Kevin's an evil a foster brother to Emma. We're getting the flashback of how Ingrid adopted Emma. That's kind of cool. Trying to bring the Once Upon a Time universe into the Frozen universe. So in a way, um, Emma's kind of Elsa and Anna's cousin, being adopted by their aunts. That is not Kevin's not a nice brother. Give me that camera, or I will make your life worse. Life. Can't talk. All right. Anyway, I was gonna say earlier, Emma and Elsa could not defeat the Snow Queen because of their ribbons, right? So now they have to find a way to get the ribbons off. And Ingrid's saying, "Well, soon you're not gonna want to hurt me. Soon you're gonna love me for real." Do you think that's true? I think. Do you think they're gonna love Ingrid, or do you think they're gonna kill her? Anyway, Ingrid is really good at knowing when a child wants to run away. So that's probably how she kept Emma around. Hmm? You're not gonna stop Emma from running away. How's that good parenting, Ingrid? Go more. Go for me. You can run away if you want. I don't care. How does a parent do that? Uh, Ingrid's talking about how Kevin, the bully sibling, is afraid of spiders, and Emma's like, "Oh, really? Maybe I should stick around and mess with him." Emma will be the stand-up bully now. Stand up for herself with a spider. Ingrid said that to keep her in the house. So she manipulated her, pretended to be okay with her leaving, then say that to keep her in. I guess that is good parenting after all. Maybe I'll do that to my children. Act as if I'm okay with them running away, but then trick them into not running away. That's going to be hard to accomplish. Such a skill. Emma and Elsa are trying to use a knife to cut the ribbons off, but unfortunately, that will not work. Well, the seven dwarfs are mad. Doc is mad at Dopey, who can, if you've seen Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, he can't speak, so he's mad at him for not speaking. Wow, Charming wants to eat their son. Charming wants to eat their son. He's a baby, not a breakfast burrito. Listen to your wife. Oh, when Snow White hit Charming in the face, that was a sign they don't want to be in love. Charming hates Kristoff. They met once in flashback. That is horrible. Snow White did something dark here. She said, I killed the evil queen's mommy. I said I was sorry, but I didn't mean it. You want to still hold hands and do zoopity doo dah after I said that? That is horrible. Snow! The evil Snow White is someone who doesn't mean their apologies. They just evil. They want to use Regina, who's the evil queen. If we want Storybrooke to survive, Regina has to hate her like she's never hated her before. And here comes the evil queen. She hates Emma, remember, for bringing Marion back and ruining her relationship with Robin? Marion is Robin Hood's ex wife, who was supposed to be dead, and that's why he fell in love with Regina. Now that his wife is back from the dead, it's a complicated situation because you shouldn't cheat on your wife and you're in love with someone else. And so, anyway, Ingrid is just looking back on fond memories of when she adopted Emma. Oh, look at how awesome Ingrid was as a foster mom. Emma did not grow up with parents. Remember, she was an orphan her whole life. Ooh, she won a Dalmatian puppy. Ingrid, you're a little too emotional. You're starting to act freaky to me. Oh, look. No one's ever adopted Emma before, except when she was 3. They said that in the pilot, but then they got their own children and they sent her back. She's never really been adopted or kept in the family before. It's hard to look at her as a mother. I don't get it. Ingrid is old enough to be her mother. She was an adult even when Emma was a baby. Promise I'll be the best big sister you can ever wish for. If Ingrid's somehow, I guess maybe when she came to the real world, she stopped aging. Anyone who comes to the real world doesn't age, I guess. But anyway, Ingrid, Emma's. Come on, you can use your magic. You got it. They tore down the protection spell. That's probably bad to unleash the evil queen like that. Yeah. A little late for Halloween. I knew Emma was going to make that joke, so that's why I said it. I mean, Regina is now the evil queen, so she's going to wear her evil queen dresses. A garden topiary. Yes! Emma has her magic back. Regina was going to throw a fireball and kill them, but it only destroyed the bracelets instead. And just to make sure she had her magic back, Emma pushed Regina against the wall. That's Halloween. This hmm, we already had a Halloween episode earlier a couple weeks ago that that aired a couple days before Halloween too. Remember when I told you ABC's Halloween episode about Elsa and the snow monster and Regina and Emma working out some issues? I guess because Regina, I guess, was almost going to turn evil at the beginning of this season, but then she decided not to, and it's nice to see her in her full evil queen again. Well, looks like Henry plays a great Home Alone Kevin here because he just spawned a trap and tripped. Huh. Wow, Will Scarlet is back for revenge. For since Hook punched him a while ago, Hook is punching him back. Henry doesn't like that. Hook is with Emma. That's kind of funny. I bet Henry doesn't really hate Hook that much. It's just part of the spell. Emma wishes she had powers like Harry Potter. That's a whole dream. Ingrid, remember magic doesn't work in the real world. I guess maybe for people who don't believe in magic, Ingrid is not old enough to be Emma's mother, so I guess that's why she's acting as a big sister. Uh, that's not good parenting. Take your child in front of a car. I thought the saying, nothing's worth the loss of a child. So why is Ingrid just pulling Emma in front of a car? She's expecting her to use her magic against the car. Harry. So Ingrid is saying Harry Potter is fiction, but not fairy tales, which is true. Fairy tales are real in this show, but Emma doesn't believe in fairy tales until she's 28. So, man, Emma's gonna run away. Ingrid just lost Emma. They were about to be a happy family, and Ingrid, you ruined it all. Ingrid, you ruined it all the moment you took Emma right in front of that vehicle. You should have known that magic doesn't work in the real world. I should have told you that. I wish I could jump in there and tell you that. Charming gets to die because of it because he's whining about it. Regina, you're so evil. Charming's like, Regina! Where were Yeah, where were you? About to kill a baby? You were gonna kill the baby. That's revenge, really? You're gonna kill a baby because Snow White and was the cause of your boyfriend dying? My goodness. Well, Regina's not killing a baby. She wants to fight Snow White instead. Mhm. Emma made a bad mistake letting Regina out of her vault. Unfortunately, this is Storybrooke in 2001. Hey, remember that? Remember when the apprentice sent Ingrid to the real world? She's finally looking for Storybrooke, and she gets transported right in the town. Ooh. Ingrid knew about Storybrooke even before she met the town. That's cool. She knew things before Regina did. But she had the scroll before she came to the real world. Get it to your head, lady. We're not your sisters and we're not gonna love you. That's right. Fighter, 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 fighter. Not the bad ones. Magic can't make someone love you. If someone loved you in the past, it can make you love them again. And Emma did love Ingrid. She adopted her, remember? And then she also loved Elsa loved her before they find out how evil she was. Yep. Elsa and Emma are hesitating. They can't kill the Snow Queen. They don't have it in them. Oh wow. Maybe they do love Ingrid. We're in Storybrooke 2011 now. This is season 1 of Once Upon a Time, remember? I haven't seen that jacket since then. Ingrid remembers her. You don't look a day older. That's 10 years ago. Magic. Yes, Ingrid was trying to kill you, Emma, but she thought you were gonna use your magic against the car, honestly. I mean, we saw Elsa freeze a car. So to forget their Emma to so of course in season one, outside it wasn't recorded, but outside of the seasons, outside of the episodes, Ingrid Rocky Road. We had an episode titled that at the beginning of the season, and then when it was the Snow Queen's first episode. Aw, a lot of patience, a lot of love. Unfortunately, yeah, so Ingrid took away Emma's memories of their painful childhood together, and so then that way she can make lovely new ones instead. Now it's about time to get those memories back. Now that Emma believes in magic, she'll know that Ingrid only put her in front of the car so that she could use magic, not to kill her. Never meant to kill. She's not above killing children. She just wanted to see if Emma could use her magic. And even in season one, Emma was surprised at her age. That should have probably gave her enough clues that maybe the curse was real back then. And she never. We got a little Sheriff Graham note there. She was gonna call Sheriff Graham until Ingrid stopped her. Remember Sheriff Graham from season one? It's a little nod to him. He's gonna be a love interest for Emma until he had to leave to do another TV show. Snow and Regina are really at it. They're breaking computers and sheriff station items. Did you hear Snow White? She was 10 when she revealed the secret. Now we know how old she was. When she told the Queen of Hearts about Regina's true love. Chris, that's not how portals work. Kristoff. Kristoff thinks he can get back. Kristoff thinks he can get back to Arendelle by swimming. That's not how portals work. Well, Anna knocked her own fiance out. Kristoff was just about to break up their engagement, and he's like, "No, no, crazy sister who almost freezes us to death. No crazy in-law who wants to kill everyone I know. No fiance who delays my wedding for 30 years. Gee, calm down, buddy." Anna just knocks him out with a bottle, and it's the bottle that her parents threw that we talked about in the last episode we just watched. You know, and she used the bottle to knock him out. And the letter inside fell out, and Anna read it. It's a letter from their parents before they died. I told you that was going to come back into play, and it's playing right now. So I hope you didn't forget from episode one. Looks like Emma was about to kill the Snow Queen until Anna intervened. Yeah, I'm gonna be quiet. You gotta listen to this. So it looks like Elsa and Anna's mother regrets trapping Ingrid in a magical urn and wishes she took her hand when she had the chance. Of course, not enough to stop Ingrid. She's still evil. She's stroking on life right as we're. You're right. Anna doesn't understand you, but exactly. If you're a part of the Frozen family, no matter what, and family never gives up on each other. Anna was telling Ingrid, so she didn't kill Anna. She knocked Anna out, but she told Anna told her that if our mother was able to love you for who you are, then so can I. You know, if our mother was able to love you, then I can love you, and we'll never give up on you. And of course, this is when Ingrid decides to break her villain self. She, remember Ingrid, Elsa and Anna's mother took Ingrid's memories. That's how she turned evil. She lost all her good memories of her sister, so she only thought less fond of them and became evil. Now Ingrid got her memories back, or the memories were attached to the to the letter. She got her memories back, all the loving memories, and she's now not evil anymore. What have you done? It's already too late. Ingrid's no longer a monster. Well, she's not. She is a monster. Yeah, okay, she is a monster. Not because of her powers, but yeah, Ingrid's gonna kill herself. She's committing suicide. Elsa and Anna found each other, and Emma found her family, even if it wasn't with her. Yeah, and Ingrid is now as a loving mother is giving Elsa and Emma's memories back lovingly. What made her go from villain to hero? It all had to do with Gerda's apology. Gerda apologized from beyond the grave, apparently. Everyone is special in this show. Fortunately, by the time Ingrid broke her villainous form, it was too late. She had already cast a spell, and the only way to stop it is to kill herself. But Ingrid deserves a happy ending too. She can't die like all the villains before her, like Pan and Wicked Witch. Guys, this is a heavenly episode here. Look at three sisters joined together forever and for all eternity in heaven, happily ever after. And that if they were members of the church, I would say the celestial kingdom. Hopefully, sisters living happily. Ingrid sacrificed herself for all of us. Yeah. Now I'm making her sad because she died. Well, a prophecy led her to her happy ending already. Her all she ever wanted was to have her sister's love. And now she has it. Now she just wants to go to heaven and join them because Helga died. Ingrid froze her to death. Remember, Helga died, and then Anna, as you see in the Frozen movie, Anna and Elsa's parents died overseas. So all her sisters are dead. They're in heaven. And so if Ingrid wants her sister's love, she has to go to heaven to get it. So she wanted to die. That was her happy ending. Most happy endings don't involve death. They involve being alive. You know, death is only for the villains usually. But Ingrid, for Ingrid's sake, that was her happy ending because now she gets to join her sisters in the spirit world. Wasn't that nice? Seeing our sisters run in the field of flying a kite. It wasn't just for the past; it was for the future of their spirit world, childhood. Of course, killing herself broke the curse. Now no one's trying to kill each other. No one's being unchristlike anymore. And the evil queen is back to being good, and she's like, "What am I wearing? You're wearing your evil queen outfit. Take it off." Everyone's having a laugh. Happy ending. That's gonna be short-lived in a second because we still got evil Rumple lurking about. But the Snow Queen sacrificed herself. They defeated her. Curse broken. I told you it was only gonna last an episode. You tried to kill me with a crossbow. Sorry I tried to kill you. You killed me. You almost killed me with a crossbow. They people kill each other, and then Ingrid saved the day. Never expected her to become a hero. Ingrid was a great villain, guys, but she was good. She was good deep down. She had a good heart. She just lost sight of it. Of course, hopefully she's in the last second she repented, and I hopefully believe she used the atonement and is now reunited with her sisters. Snowy and Charming no longer hate each other. Rumple and I mean, no. Robin and Regina no longer hate each other. Emma and Hook no longer hate each other. All our boyfriend girlfriend couples are back together, and husbands and wives, and happy kisses. Another Snowy and Charming kiss. Snowy and Charming always have a romantic kiss every time a curse breaks. Remember the end of season 1? And it's snowing. Hey, we had our first snowfall just now. Once upon a time, it gets their first snowfall. It's snowing, but not in the Elsa kind of way. Not like eternal winter Arendelle. This is actual winter. It's not summer. It's snow from the weather. So Hook is making a deal with Rumple. If you're gonna kill me, promise me you will leave Emma and Storybrooke alone. And he says yes, but I can't promise that for the rest of the world. He's gonna kill the whole rest of the world. He's gonna kill us. We're not fairy tale characters. Rumple's coming to kill us. And Rumple's walking in the snow like he's hiding that murky evil. And tonight, when the stars in the sky align with the sorcerer's hat, Hook's gonna die. So we gotta stop Rumple now. We took care of the Snow Queen. We gotta stop Rumpelstiltskin. Credits roll. Anyway, that was that episode, everybody. We defeated the Snow Queen. And just to recap it all, in flashback, we got to see how Ingrid adopted Emma, became a foster mother to her for a short period of time, about 6 months. And I said that a few episodes ago. That's how you know the time frame. Unfortunately, Ingrid thought Emma was about to learn her powers. You know how we found out after the curse was broken that Emma had magic? Ingrid thought Emma was supposed to learn magic before the curse. So she tried to throw her in front of a car to see if she can use magic to stop it. Obviously, that would have killed her, but Emma got out of the way, After realizing how crazy of a parent and abusive she was, putting her in front of a car like that, Emma ran away from her, and which led Ingrid to just go into Storybrooke and waiting for her to come on her 20th birthday. Unfortunately, Emma remembers her from her childhood and is kind of surprised that she didn't age much, right? She was going to call Sheriff Graham and probably get arrested, but Ingrid erased her memories so that she wouldn't get in trouble. Anyway, so Ingrid, who is not cursed, she was in the show all along. They just didn't show her in season 1 and 2 and 3. She was in the show all along from the very beginning. But anyway, before Emma could call Sheriff Graham, she lost her memories of Ingrid and doesn't know how evil she is. So she just gets the ice cream that her and Henry want. In present day, Emma and Ingrid do all they can. Emma and Elsa do all they can to defeat the Snow Queen's spell, and they can't defeat her because of their ribbons. So they get Regina to take their ribbons off, and unleashing the evil Queen Regina. Well, that didn't go well. If it weren't for Anna, Regina would have killed Snowy and Charming's baby. Who Charming joked is a breakfast burrito. Don't eat your babies. Anyway. before the evil queen could kill the baby, Anna and Kristoff kind of distracted her, and then and the evil queen poofed them away from the beach, all the way back to the beach, and forgot that she was gonna kill the baby. So thank goodness she forgot, and decided she wanted to kill Snow White, with her bare hands. So anyway, instead of using magic against her, she was sword fighting. Anyway, then she promised she wouldn't use magic, and she broke that rule because she said, "You said you could keep a secret. I was 10!" We found out Snow White was 10 years old. It was also on her birthday, too, that her mother died, so she must have just turned 10. And then a few months later, Regina became her mother. Anyway, Kristoff and Anna even have a marriage fight, and they start almost breaking it up, until Anna knocks him out with a bottle and finds out that her mother's letter was in it, and read the letter and gave it to Elsa and Emma. And right as the few seconds before Emma destroyed Ingrid, right, just seconds before she did it, Anna comes to stop her and reads the letter. It doesn't turn Ingrid into a redemptive hero right away. I mean, she goes even to almost choking Anna, but then finally the memories start coming back to her, and she repents. She pretty much takes on the atonement, if you will, if we want to keep this Sabbath related. She takes on the atonement of Jesus Christ, repents of her sins, but knows that the only way to break the curse that she just casted is to kill herself. So she commits suicide, not really suicide. She sacrifices her life for the town. And I know what you're saying. When you repent, you get a happy ending. But her happy ending is just to be with her sisters, which are in the spirit world. So the only way to pass on through the veil is to die, right? So she kills herself. That is her happy ending all along anyway. Most villains' happy ending is a demise, but not for Ingrid. She wanted to be in heaven with her sisters, so that's what happened. She's now in heaven with her sisters, living happily ever after. Talk about villains getting a happy ending. Regina should take this. She should learn from this experience. Snow Queen was evil, but she repented and got a happy ending. Regina's been struggling with that lately for seasons now. So learning from this, maybe we don't need the author. Maybe we just need to know that we can earn a happy ending, when we repent, right? And Regina has done that. It's just, she's been facing a lot of trials. Some people get their happy endings right away. Others have to face trials for it. And so, everyone lives life differently. Some are rewarded, some don't. But, but those who don't get rewarded in the next life. So you just got to be patient. Some blessings don't come now, some don't come till later, and some don't come till heaven. Anyway, after the Snow Queen sacrifice, it caused the whole snow blizzard to come down from the sky. It's the first snowfall. I guess it is winter in the show as well, I guess, not fall. Everyone's living happily ever after except for Rumple. Rumple's disappointed that Hook can kidnap a child. Rumple's disappointed that the Snow Queen's plan failed. And so anyway, that kind of rethinks his plans for a minute. And so now his new plan is just, instead of taking Belle and Henry out of Storybrooke, he's just going to wait for the stars in the hat to line with the ones in the sky. And that will allow him to free himself from the dagger and gain more power. And be unstoppable, basically, And he has Hook's heart, remember? So he's going to kill Hook's heart to do that. Remember the dark curse? You have to kill the thing you love most. It looks like Hook has to kill the thing he hates most in order to be free from his Dark One dagger. So anyway, he's on the urge of almost killing Hook. It's not good. We got to stop Rumpelstiltskin now. So speaking of which, we're going to watch that episode right now. As far as Elsa and Anna goes, it's time to kind of say goodbye. Ingrid's defeated. Storybrooke is saved. It's time to send them back to Arendelle. So don't worry, we do get one more episode with them. That's the one we're starting right now. It's called Heroes and Villains. But it's also time to say goodbye. Because remember, this season does not have 22. It has 23 episodes. So this episode is kind of an in-betweener. It wraps up the first half, but it starts the second half at the same time. That's not what happened last season. It was perfectly divided. The first 11 episodes was Neverland. The second 11 episodes was was gonna say Wonderland, but no, Oz. Wonderland was this whole separate series, spin-off series. So anyway, 11 episodes of Oz, 11 episodes of Neverland, and so anyway, when we finished episode 11 of season 3, it was all Neverland, and then boom, it was like, okay, next Sunday we'll start Oz. This one, the reason why we're about to watch this episode is because even though it's an in-betweener, ABC decided to air it before the second half of the season. So the way ABC works is you do the first half of the season, and then you take a winter break, and then you do the second half in the spring. And so anyway, you take a couple months off, you know. Um, this episode, it was a debatable question. ABC had the choice to either air this episode before the winter break or after the winter break in the spring, and they chose to do it before winter break, so anyway, this is the longest half of season we've ever gotten. It's 12 episodes long. That's because it's 23 episodes in total, and you can't divide 23 evenly, and so anyway, this episode kind of does start the next arc a little bit, but it's wrapping the Frozen arc, which is why I want to watch it today and be done with Frozen. It is the end of the month. As you noticed, all of August was about Neverland. All of September was about Wonderland. All of October was about Oz. And all of November's been about Frozen. I know December would have been better for Frozen, but anyway, November was all about Frozen. And again, Oz should have been in November because Wicked for Good came out, and I watched it and it was great. But no, we had to do it in October. Just didn't work with our marathon. Anyway, but now that it's November 30th and this is the end of the month, tomorrow is December. It's time to start a new chapter, right? Every month we start a new chapter. So with it being the end of the month and all, it's kind of time to say goodbye to Frozen because November was Frozen's month, not December. So yeah, we're going to watch the last Frozen episode today, but we're also going to kind of start the next arc. So, okay, we're going to start now. I'm talking too much. All right. If you push the episode, there should be there's no recap. It's going to show the thumbnail, but don't let the thumbnail play. Don't let the Once Upon a Time title sequence play. Make it go to 0 seconds. It's 43 minutes and 19 seconds. 43 minutes and 19 seconds if you watch Disney Plus's version. Now, if you watch Hulu and DVD, it's something else. But just make sure you haven't played a single second. And when I say now, we'll push play together, okay? Stay sync with my commentary. I'm just checking. No comments, okay? No comments. Now a lot of people are watching. Okay. All right. Okay, ready to start the episode. 3, 2, 1, now. Or that took the Snow Queen from Arendelle to the real world. That's the thumbnail, the door. Grabbing all the snow and pushing it through the door. Time to say goodbye. That's a lot of ice. It's the ice wall. Yes, it's time for it to come down. Come on, bring the ice wall down. Bring the ice wall down. It's been up for almost an entire half a season. It first came up in episode 2. It's coming down in episode 12. 10 episodes later. 11 if you count 2 itself. Time to bring it down. Anna, don't go across the town line. You could turn into a tree. You could forget who you are or never come back. Arendelle will, Arendelle will still be there by. Yeah, no, you forgot to tell Elsa. Oh, yeah. You gotta go back and stop Hans. He's taking over Arendelle while you were busy defeating the Snow Queen. Yeah, you don't have a villain to help you out anymore, Rumple. You're all on your own. Your plan's failing, buddy. Snow Queen's gone. Anna knows about the hat and the dagger, and he knows all of Rumple's secrets. So it's like once Anna finds out he's here, she's gonna tell everybody. This is not good. So was meant to kill Hook like by now, but his life has been extended because of Snow Queen's failed plans. She's gonna go see the world. Because all Belle wanted was to see the world. Well, now we're getting a flashback of Rumple and Belle. It's Beauty and the Beast, guys. It's gonna be sad when she finds out what Rumple's been up to. This is where you need your tissues. There's gonna be a big marriage breakup in this episode. Belle's gonna find out all of Rumple's secrets. How? I'm not gonna spoil. Yeah, you would have killed if you were gonna kill her. You would have done it long ago. You love her too much to kill her. Guys, notice that she said, "How was your trip to Camelot?" Good for me. Not so good for Camelot. um, Notice that they said Camelot. Camelot's gonna make an appearance in the show eventually. It's coming, guys. Not now, not our next arc, but it's coming. Not the Queens of Darkness, but it's coming. Oh, guys, it's your last chance to guess who our three new Disney villains are because they're gonna reveal it in this episode. As the trailer says, as one story comes to an end, another begins. So we're gonna find out. Hmm. But Rumple's gonna take Belle to see the world. I don't know about that. She needs to find out what he's been up to. Curse is broken. Everyone's happy. If only they knew. They're gonna put Marion's heart back into her chest. Marion's back. She was a frozen ice statue for a long time since episode 3, and now she's back in episode 12. Of course, Regina's not having quite as fun because now that Marion's back, now that she's safe from the Ice Queen spell, she's back with Robin Hood. Regina's Marion's trying to make amends with Regina. Marion is willing to give up her marriage so that Regina and Robin can be together. That is so considerate coming from her. Now Regina can be a little more happier. She doesn't need the author if Marion's willing to give up her husband. In the next life, you're saying a lot, Hook. In the next life, yeah, Rumpel does have immortality, so that'd take forever, Hook. In the next life, it won't be pleasant for you. I don't think Rumpel's ever gonna make it to the next life. He tried once, and Belle brought him back from the dead. So in return, we lost Neil, and I wish we kept Neil here instead of Rumpel. But there's the Arendelle portal. They found it pretty fast. Rumpelstiltskin is really desperate to get Anna and Elsa out of town before they, because Anna knows Rumpel's evil plans. Remember, she ran into him in the Enchanted Forest, and Rumpel wants Anna out of town before she could spill the beans. So he's really quick at finding a portal. Belle didn't get the news about the town line. Belle didn't get the news about. Henry is trying to get help from Belle. That's new. Don't you have mother or somebody you can talk to? I guess it's about Regina, and that's talk to Emma. Grandma. Belle's good. I don't want to be called grandma. I'm not that old. Belle doesn't want to be called grandma. Belle. Belle is a grandma. He's married. Marrying Rumpel makes her Henry's step grandma. Did not think about that, Princess Belle grandma. I have thought about that before, but not a comment I thought about mentioning tonight. Henry spilled a lot of stuff trying to help Belle get a suitcase. Fortunately, throughout his spill, look what Belle finds. You know, the gauntlet from Camelot. They just had a flashback on that a few minutes ago. And Rumpel said, not so good for Camelot. Good for me, not so good for Camelot. Hmm. Uh-oh, Rumpel, you're about to lose your marriage. Because look, Belle just found the gauntlet. Which, if you were paying attention to the episode, it says it can find someone's greatest weakness. And if Belle finds out that Rumpel's weakness is her his power, oh no. We're back to the flashback, and Beauty and the Beast style, Beast sends Belle to the clothing rack to hang up clothes. Hmm. Fortunately, as Belle's doing Rumpel's chores, she finds a puppy, a little Dalmatian puppy. What are you doing here? This isn't 101 Dalmatians. She's gonna follow the puppy into the woods. That's usually not the best. That's not the best thing to do. It could lead you into a trap. She got kidnapped. Belle's getting kidnapped. Oh boy. Now again, the heroes don't know that Hook is being controlled by Rumpel right now. They found Elsa and Anna's portal to Arendelle. Rumple's even Emma's realizing that Rumple's been lying like a dozen times already, and it's like, can we trust him at this point? He's been lying lately. I'm a little concerned about him. Yeah, because the audience knows what he's up to, really. He's not lying about the portal. Yeah, now Emma's realizing Hook is acting strange and not sounding like himself. And he kisses Emma, but then realizes that he's holding on to her hand too tight. Emma's like, so Hook is holding on to Emma's hand very tight and squeezing it. Isn't that a little concerning if your boyfriend holds your hand very tight and squeezes it? That's weird. Honestly, something's up with Hook. I think Emma and Bella are both onto him now. He's about to get caught and doesn't know it. Rumple should have not chose lying and deceiving over truth and honesty. Now, flashback Beast Rumple when he was the Beast is is just finding out Belle got kidnapped. The gauntlet from Camelot, remember? We keep getting references to that. Um, he has to bring it by midnight or he'll be killed by these queens of darkness. Yeah, Regina is kind of upset because even though Marion promised to stay out of the way, Roland is still her son and she wants to spend time with Roland. So it's gonna be a complication situation. Complicated situation. Roland's gonna have two mothers in his life. To live truthfully. Robin Robin wants to follow his heart, and his heart to love leads to Regina. Robin was a thief who stole from the rich and gave to the poor and became a better man. Regina was the evil queen and became good. And remember that page they found in the library last week? It's a fate that they are meant to be together. Uh oh, Marianne is. Uh oh, the freezing spell is back. It didn't work. It's a one-way trip. There's a curse on the town line, and anyone who leaves cannot return. It's a one-way trip. You can't send Marion into an unknown world. Someone has to go with her. Exactly. Once you go, you can't come back. This could be goodbye to Robin and Regina. So much for Regina getting a happy ending. They were just about to be together, and then Marion's spell came back, and freezing spell came back. I guess killing Ingrid did not stop that. It broke all the other curses, like the Shattered Sight. I don't know why it's not stopping Merida. I mean Marion's spell. Yeah. Once you leave the you can never come back. Rumpel knew all along that Regina wanted Henry to work for Rumpel to find out more on the author. Yeah, so apparently Henry's plan on getting the author failed because Rumpel doesn't even know the author. And this is one lie he's not actually telling the truth about. He really doesn't know the author. But anyway, villains don't get happy endings. Regina's about to give up because she was once a villain, and every time when she repents and redeems herself, she fails to get a happy ending. It's kind of sad. She's faced more trials than any other person on the show. How, she's asking Rumpel, being good doesn't mean good things will happen. That sounds like the old Rumpelstiltskin talking. He is evil. He is evil. Regina's even catching on. Coming back from the dead and being a slave to the Wicked Witch tends to make you evil? That's a poor excuse, Rumpel. You sacrificed your life for the town last season, and you're throwing it all away for evilness. Rumpelstiltskin. Huh. Rumpel's giving Regina advice about how being good doesn't mean good things will happen. I'm a villain, and I am living happily ever after. I'm about to take Belle to see the world. Well, just wait, because your happy ending will be short lived in a second. Knowing what I know, he did do one thing. He's kind of telling Regina not to give up. But honestly, if you want advice, don't get it from Rumpel. And Regina's about to say her final goodbye. Can't be together with Robin Hood. Hmm. So much for staying out of the way for Marion. Marion wanted Regina to have her happy ending all along, and now she has to be with Robin because she hasn't been in the real world, and if she goes to the real world by herself, it won't be pretty. So, fortunately, Robin and Marion, married couple, have to stay together. She can't give up her husband after all. She needs to go with Robin Hood to an unknown world to save her own life. And look, she crossed the town line and she feels a lot better. Robin, your family's waiting. Your family's waiting. Marion and Roland crossed the town line. Oh, one last goodbye kiss from Robin Hood. We're not gonna see a romantic relationship like that again. So much for being soulmates. I know. That's so sad. No, Regina and Robin Hood. Remember, once you leave, you can never come back. At first, the town line was if you left, you would forget who you are all over. Remember from season 2 and season 3? Then, if you got across the town line in the Wicked Witch arc, you get taken away and turned into a flying monkey. And then there was an ice wall that prevented you from leaving, and now we've been through a lot of town line curses, guys. And now it's if you leave, it's a one-way trip. There's always consequences when it comes to the town line and living in the real world in Storybrooke. Once you leave, you can never come back. Regina's sad as she watches Robin and his family walk. We'll never see them again. Regina will have to find another happy ending. And she rips the page that had hope on it, hope that she could find a happy ending. She ripped it. She's probably lost hope. Well, we won't give if you she might give up on herself, but we're not giving up on Regina. Okay, we're about to find out who our next chapter is. Get ready to find out who these next villains are. Okay? We're getting three villains, so it's not just remember how we went from Neverland, Oz, and Arendelle. We're getting three storylines. Maleficent, number one, Sleeping Beauty is one third of our arc next season. I mean, not next season, next half season, because we're halfway through. It's the second half. Maleficent, the dragon. We've seen her before. She was in season one. If you remember her, she was best friends with the evil queen. She was a dragon. Emma slayed her. Wait, she's dead. So how could she? You're probably wondering. I'm not going to spoil. There's something going on here, but you're probably wondering how does she play a big role in the second half of the season if she died in season one? Well, I'm not going to spoil how they bring her back. I did say in the show that some villains do get do come back from the dead, and some come back in flashbacks. Second, we have Ursula, the sea witch from The Little Mermaid. Now we've seen Ariel in season three. We've seen Ariel in season three, but we're not going to focus on Ariel. We're only focusing on Ursula from The Little Mermaid. So we're getting a little bit of Little Mermaid in the second half. And last but not least, Cruella de Vil getting 101 Dalmatians, which we actually never got before, except Jiminy Cricket's dog. We did get that, but not much of anything else. Boom, boom, Queens of Darkness. Cruella, Ursula, and Maleficent. Now you know. We are going from Frozen to Sleeping Beauty, Little Mermaid, and what's the last one? 101 Dalmatians. That's our Disney movie focus now. Wow, we're focusing on a lot instead of one story at a time. But don't worry, it's still only going to be a half a season. I'll tell you what the thing is. What's going on here? We get almost done with the episode. So the Queens of Darkness just stole the gauntlet from Camelot, from Rumpelstiltskin. And they're going to use it because they're tired of being defeated by these heroes. And if they use the gauntlet to find their heroes' weaknesses, they can hopefully. So basically, Ursula's going to use the gauntlet against Ariel, and Maleficent's going to use the gauntlet against Sleeping Beauty, and Bella's going to use the gauntlet against Dalmatian. My throat's starting to hurt from talking too much. So Rumple gives up the gauntlet to save Belle, and that's why Belle was shocked. Belle was shocked when she saw that, and when Henry was helping her pack, she was shocked to see that because Rumple gave it up for her, and it's probably breaking her heart right now that he took it back and didn't love her enough. Anyway, oh no, Rumple's about to open the hatch. Oh no, we're only moments away. We gotta stop him. Okay. Meanwhile, the heroes are too busy trying to get Elsa and Anna home. There's the door. There's the door. That's the door to Arendelle. Emma, you know, Emma was a good sister to Elsa. When Anna wasn't in town, Emma took good care of her, so that's coming a lot from Anna. Thank you for taking care of my sister. Yes, Anna's gonna punch Hans in the face the minute they get back. Of course they are. We're not gonna see them defeat Hans. We know they will. We know they will succeed. Elsa has magic on her side. We don't need to see that. But it is time to say goodbye to Elsa and Anna. Oh, goodbye, hugs. I'm gonna miss the Frozen cast. When I first saw this, I was hoping they would come back in the show, and they never did. A lot of other characters, from Peter Pan to the Wicked Witch to Wonderland, make guest starring appearances later in the show. Frozen is one of the few things that got forgotten. Just like the Rapunzel from season 3. We had one episode of Rapunzel and she never comes back. I told you that. We get 12 episodes with Frozen back to back and they don't come back. Uh-oh. Anna's asking who Mr. Gold is. And they obviously mention it's Rumpelstiltskin. And Anna knows Rumple. She's exploiting the plans to them. Rumple's busted. Yep, yep, yep. Anna just revealed all Rumple does is lie. He only lies. He's been lying to them the whole time. Oh no, Rumple. You're in trouble. Okay, that was the end of the Frozen cast. Anna's left. Bye, Frozen. That's the end of Elsa and Anna. But now we gotta stop Rumple. Rumple, wow, he's using his magic to push the hat into the sky. Here comes Emma and Snow. Emma was about to use her magic, but then Rumple froze her. Oh, Rumple. Now he's gonna try to kill Hook because that's what he needs to do to complete the spell of being rid of his dagger. Whoa! Belle took up from behind you and you didn't even notice? There's no lying your way out of that one. She heard you say, now you're gonna watch this coward crush your heart. There's no excuse of for that. You cannot lie your way out of that one. She literally just saw you about to do something. Rumple, even you don't get a happy ending. You should have learned from the Snow Queen. You don't get a happy ending for being evil. Now, and Belle commands him to take him to the town. You need your tissues right now. Right now. This is the marriage breakup. Right now. It's gonna be. It's not funny to really talk about this now. It's kind of sad. Rumple just after getting caught cold-handed, Belle's now has her heart broken. Watching her husband being so evil. Hmm. Not a not a not something you expect from Beauty and the Beast. Honestly, Belle used the gauntlet from Camelot to find out that Rumple was lying. Rumple's never given up power for her. She just found out that all Rumple was doing was choosing power over love. The thing that Rumple loves the most is the dagger, not Belle. That's heartbreaking. She just found out that Rumple loved the dagger more than his wife. So unfortunately, Belle didn't. Rumple's trying to make excuses to get his way out of it, but Belle didn't want power. All she wanted was him, and now it's too late. Belle once saw the man behind the beast, and now it's only a beast. I cried during this thing too, uh, 11 years ago. Rumble's like, "I'll make it up to you. I'm sorry," and she's like, "Nope, it's too late. It's too late to apologize. You've gone overboard. Yep, you've been lying for too long. It's too late. You've been abusive over power for too long." She's commanding Rumble to go across the town line. Belle's heart is so broken so badly that she's forcing him to leave the town line, and once he crosses it, as I just explained earlier, it's a one-way trip. There's no coming back. He's pretty much out of the show for good. So remember what happened last season? Around this time last season, he died and came back. So spoiler alert: they keep getting rid of Rumple, and he somehow still manages to stay in the show. So unfortunately, we're not done seeing him in the show. But as of this moment, he cannot come back to Storybrooke. So yeah, now he's all alone, and Belle's walking away. That's sad. That's what you get for being a villain. You lose your marriage, you lose your family. The end. Okay, happier moment. I did say that was the end of Elsa and Anna, but we got one more scene with them. Remember how Anna was about to get married when Frozen first started? And then they got interrupted with finding out about their parents and why they lived on the boat, right? That's what started all this mess. Now with Ingrid being defeated, and now we didn't get to see it, but they defeated Hans and kicked him off the throne. I wish I could see the bruise on a. I wish I could see the bruise on a made on Hans's eye. So Elsa's saying, "Why did you postpone your whole wedding to find out the truth of our parents?" And Anna, didn't want Anna. Elsa's Anna's sister, and Anna didn't want to walk down the aisle with unless Elsa was as happy as she was. Elsa wasn't pretty happy before, and now she is. So Anna didn't want to have her wedding with a sad Elsa. What is that amazing smell? You remember that from the Frozen movie? What is that amazing smell? Chocolate. It just brings it full circle. They should have put that in the second one, honestly. Yeah. So now we're watching as Anna walks down the aisle and marries Kristoff. Because now we don't have Hans or Ingrid to interrupt the wedding. Now they can actually live happily ever after in Arendelle. Anna gets married to Kristoff, and well, there's Elsa and Anna living happily ever after. Now we're done seeing them. Sorry, I didn't forget about that scene. I just wanted to let you know that was pretty much the end of them. But it was nice to see Anna's wedding before we actually said goodbye. But Emma, on the other hand, did get Hook's heart back from Rumple and put it back in his chest. So now he's no longer being controlled. Hook and Emma can live happily ever after without Rumple's control over him. uh, guys, you know Rumple trapped the apprentice in the hat and all those fairies. You gotta get them out. Yeah, Gold. Gold is miserable. Regina feels miserable because she had to let Robin go, but Gold is miserable because he just lost his wife and he's out in the real world all by himself. Yeah, that is interesting. Okay, Henry comes in and finds something interesting in the mansion that they sent Elsa and Anna home from. It looks like Henry found a secret passageway. Now with Frozen out of the way, Elsa and Anna being over, We can focus on Operation Mongoose, which is the author of Henry's book. Remember in the beginning of the season, Regina wanted to find the author of Henry's book. We were Frozen kind of got us distracted, but now with that out of the way, the second half of the season's going to focus on that. Now, and you'll in this episode will explain why at the end. It looks like the mansion has a secret library of Henry's books, and it looks exactly like his fairy tale books, except they're all blank. So plot twist: if this place is filled with empty fairy tale storybooks, then this must be the author's place. We found the author's house. We don't know where the author is, but we found his house. It's also the sorcerer's mansion, so aren't they two different things? Emma did promise Regina in episode 1 of the season that she would help her find her happy ending, and she's keeping that promise now. Now we're doing the time jump. So this is why this was not part of the second half, is because the time jump happens at the end of this episode instead of the last one. We jumped 6 weeks. Last season we jumped a whole year in the future. But now we're jumping 6 weeks. Rumpel has survived New York all alone for 6 weeks. And Rumpel has just learned that the role of villains never getting happy endings apply to him too. In flashback, we get to see Rumpel get the Gauntlet of Kenlock back. So this is proof that he did choose power over love. This is proof that he didn't choose Belle over the Gauntlet. He cheated his way on getting it back. Rumpel just stole back the Gauntlet so that the Queens of Darkness don't use it against their allies or against their enemies. I mean, not allies. Why would you? The rules are not rigged. The rules are rigged. The villains will never get happy endings. Mhm. In flashback, Rumpel learned that Rumpel ref- Queens of Darkness offered Rumpel to be a fourth player in their pack, and he's like, "No, I'm a villain who always wins, and I win alone." He doesn't like working as a team. That's the trick. Heroes work as a team. That's how they always win all the time. If you work alone, you're never going to win. It's one against a team. Plot twist. Hmm. Hmm. Who is standing in our way? The heroes, of course. Of course they are. Two more stops to make. Maleficent's dead. So if you're going to pick up Cruella, what's the other stop? All right. Episode over. That was the end of Frozen, everybody. And the end of our night live stream. But before we end, I'm gonna just recap. Normally we do Q&A, but I think I talked too much in between episodes because it's already 9:30. It's not 9:15. So by the time I'm done recapping the episode, we're pretty much done. We're not gonna watch this. It was automatically playing the next episode. Nope, we're done for the night. But okay, just to recap before I end. Um, so yes, just as I was watching just now, Rumpel 6 weeks later finds Ursula in a fish food dispenser. She works with fish. She feeds them. I mean, she was a sea witch, so that makes sense for a real world job. And so, anyway, is this a man who always wins? Looks like with a limp and a cane. And Rumple mentions about his situation only being temporary, you know? And he's like, I'm going to tell you a story about heroes and villains where the villains always lose. But but he knows someone who, and obviously he knows someone who can change that. And it's the author of Henry's book, the author of Henry's fairy tales, who makes the rules that villains always lose. And so, anyway, their evil plan is to get the author and change the rules to where villains always win. And, but before they can find the author, Rumple learned from his past mistakes. He worked alone and he failed. Now he's going to try being a villain and work with a team. Because, with the heroes, you got Emma, Hook, Snow White, Charming, Rumple. Not Rumple. Sorry, he's the villain. Emma, Hook, Snow White, Charming, Hook. I said Hook. I'm missing someone. Let me see. Emma, Hook, Snow White, Charming, the Regina, Henry. Well, we lost Robin Hood. He's in New York now forever. Belle. I'm trying to think of who's still in town. Anyway, we got a whole team of heroes, right? And Rumple's realizing, well, I realize I'm never going to win, but working alone. But maybe if I team up, even if you have a team of villains, I don't think I think the rules still apply. Villains never win, but he's going to try teaming up with the villains to see if he can have a better chance at against the heroes. Anyway, and then their plan is to go back to Storybrooke somehow, even though it's a one-way trip to leave, right? Once Upon a Time has its way of finding loopholes and plot holes, but anyway, they have a way of getting back. You just gotta wait until next week. But anyway, that's the end of our November month, so we're moving on to the next arc, which is the Queens of Darkness, right? And anyway, he's gonna come back to Storybrooke and try to find the author. Guess who else is looking for the author? Regina, who was once the evil queen, and and she's upset that she's not getting a happy ending either. But she's working with the heroes, so you got heroes wanting the author and villains wanting the author. Who's going to get the author first of Henry's book? So, like I said before, this season is now going to focus more on the author. It couldn't do that before because Frozen was in the way, but now Frozen's out of the way, so we can focus on what the season set up originally. Anyway, so yes, the second half is not a specific movie. It's not Peter Pan. It's not The Wizard of Oz. It's not Alice in Wonderland. It's not specifically Frozen anymore. It's three movies combined. Little Mermaid. Now I'm trying to remember them all. 101 Dalmatians, Little Mermaid, and Sleeping Beauty. That's what we're getting for the next 4 weeks. Assuming I don't get sick. Assuming we don't skip a week. And yeah, let's try to finish this season before the end of the year. So we got December 7th, 14th, 21st, 28th. Perfect. Let's just not mess up for the rest of the year. We were going to start season 5. Again, because a month is not exactly 4 weeks, so we weren't planning to align with each month originally. And so the original plan was to finish season 4 halfway through December and start season 5. But because I had to skip a week for being sick, and because I had to impress a date back in September, that kind of pushed us to the end of the month. So now we're not starting season 5 until the new year, which I think is better in my opinion, because when I first planned this live stream marathon, I know we have the half season arcs, and I would be fine if we only were halfway through the season by the end of the year. But 2 Sundays is not good, to be halfway to be done with the season halfway through a month. That only gives you 2 weeks before the end of the month, right? Because it's like 4.5 weeks long. So unless there's a 5th Sunday, which December doesn't have, November had it. You don't get a 5th Sunday every month, especially not 2 months in a row. So anyway, since November had a 5th Sunday, December doesn't have one. You only have 2 Sundays, and which is not enough to cover half a season. So I'm kind of glad we skipped a week in November because I was sick. I'm also glad we skipped a week in September. I prefer ending the year off by finishing a season, not starting a new one. So anyway, our goal is to just finish season 4 before the end of the year, and then we'll start season 5 in January. Yeah. So anyway, so just recapping, all the heroes help Elsa and Anna find a way back home. Rumple doesn't want them to find out his evil plan, so because since Anna knows too much, he definitely tries to find a way back home. He finds a portal within just a couple scenes. From the beginning of the episode, he finds a portal pretty quick. and then and then the heroes go to that portal and say goodbye to Elsa and Anna. Now we thought that was the end of the Frozen, but they gave us one last Frozen scene where Anna gets to have her wedding. That was nice to watch. Anna had her wedding, and now we're done with Elsa and Anna. And then in the meantime, the heroes Anna did right before she left. She did tell everyone about Rumpelstiltskin, which caused them to stop him, which gave them enough knowledge to stop him. And Belle sent him across the town line so he could never come back. So it's kind of sad. It broke up marriage, and anyway, anyway, and then I liked how Henry called Belle Grandma, Princess Belle, Grandma, Grandma and the Beast. Just kidding. Anyway, anyway, the Golic from Camelot kind of solved all our problems today. Okay, finally revealed Rumple for who he really was to Belle, and they broke up, and yeah, bye bye Belle. I mean, bye bye Rumple. Yeah, now Belle's single. So anyway, anyway, let's see. So anything else? Nothing present wise. Flashback wise, we go back to when Rumple was more a beast. I mean, he still is a beast. He's evil now. But anyway, back when Belle was a maid in Rumple's castle, obviously, way long time ago, like 30 years ago. Rumple just came back from a trip to Rumple just came back from a trip to Camelot, and you know, and he gets annoyed at Belle, and Belle gets kidnapped, and then he has to trade the Golic from Camelot to save Belle's life. Unfortunately, he fakes the trade. He uh, chooses Belle over the Golic uh, of Camelot, but then he goes back for it and forces the Queens of Darkness to give it back to him. So anyway, obviously he never left Bella all along. He loved his power, and now that's being exposed to her in the present. So it was a sad episode for Rumple and Belle, but happy ending for everyone else except for Regina. Regina, it was also sad for Regina to leave Robin Hood. They could have hit it off on a romantic relationship, but then Marian's freezing spell came back, and Robin had to go with his wife to over the town line, which means they can't come back either. So anyway, it's kind of sad for both Rumple and Regina. Regina deserves a happy ending though. Rumple doesn't. Anyway, now it's the Queens of Darkness again. Cruella, Ursula, Maleficent. That's our arc for this next little bit. So we're gonna continue. We kind of already started it, but we're gonna continue it next week and really get a hold of it. We do have a Once Upon a Time special that for that half of the season as well. I'll send out the link to that later this week. But for now, I'm gonna call it a night, guys. Have a great night. See you next Sunday. Hopefully, you have a great week, and well, God be with you, telling me again. All right, this is me signing off and saying farewell. Bye, y'all. Wait, I'm gonna end Facebook first, then YouTube. Bye, y'all.